Can anybody hear me? Yo, yo, yo. I have no idea what this looks like on the viewer side. Anyone? Can you type in the group chat if you can hear me? Will, are you there? Can you see this? I'm not seeing any chat messages. Maybe I need to enable chat. Where do I do this at? Is it here? No. Channel. Super chat is ineligible. Oh, chat has monetization disabled. Oh, this is because I'm waiting for this to come back. Okay, so maybe chat isn't available just yet. Let's just have a look here. Let's have a look on Google. So what is this? Google On Air Live. What's this called again? Google Hangouts On Air. So let's look at Google Hangouts On Air chat. So I'm just trying to figure out why, because I'm not receiving any messages at the moment. So I'm just trying to get that fixed. Oh, this is in like 2015. Let's look at this 2018 one. Embedded. No interaction. It's probably because I'm waiting to get my application done from the monetization. That's probably what it is. Yeah. Just going to stop screen sharing for a second here. See if that maybe. Yeah, let me just try it now. So what's this cameraman? Okay. Okay, so let me go back to Will. And you, where do you see the chat? Maybe if I go like this, let's try this. Oh, that's, oh, yes. Okay, so are you getting this like this? Let's try this. Are you getting this now? Oh, that's, oh, yes. Okay, so. So this is a different, is there a way to put this in a separate window? Pop out chat. Yes, that's awesome. Now we're talking. Toast, stop that. Should I just live stream now? Are there any college degree programs to learn Juice? There are programs that do teach the Juice framework. Where are you based? Are you based in the States, or where are you at? From Asia. Okay. Oh, okay. I'm not sure, but I do know that there's, hold on, I'm going to actually just mute this so I can listen to my headphones. That's better. So in India, there's actually a waves development branch in India, and I know the vice president of software development. He's actually from India, actually, and his daughter had an internship there at Waves. So there must be somewhere in India that does it, that teaches it, but I'm not sure where. I'll ask him if I get a chance. That's really cool, though. I'm glad the videos are helping. So how many people do I actually have viewing right now? So we've got 4 people. Where did my other window go? Oh, here it is. So many windows is crazy. So this is going to take me a little bit of getting used to. Glad to help. Just keep coming back here. We're gonna so what I'm gonna do here. This is something that I'm just testing out for now. But what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to start doing some live streaming. So what we're gonna do is, as I'm actually building the tutorial, as I'm actually learning stuff in the Juice framework myself, I'm actually going to be live coding it. So you're going to see the problems that I run into and the things that I'm learning along the way. And I think that would be a really cool process to get people to join in and to learn along with me. And so that's something new that I'm probably going to do here in probably the next week or so. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. So let's see. So I'm going to put this away. This is my own kind of, actually, you know what? I don't know whether to do this as my like kind of professional project, whether to live code this. I'm gonna close it. Sorry. But what I am gonna do, I am going to start another Juice project here. And I was thinking that a good next tutorial could be about Flexbox, about making a dynamic UI. So I think that could be a cool tutorial. Shall we make something like that? Let's just give it a try. Now this is something I don't know anything about it. I've only seen other people really use it, so I haven't really messed with it. So you're going to see how I learn it myself. So if you're expecting kind of like they do in the movies where, you know, they can just code something up in like 30 seconds, it's not really going to be like that, unfortunately. So sorry to disappoint you if that's what you're looking for here. No super ninja coding here. So let's see. So I'm just going to open up another Juice project here. Let's just do file, new project. And so here, feel free to chat as well. Yeah, I'll try my best to, this is my first time doing it. So this is kind of a bit of a test for me as well. So let's see. So let's just call this Flexbox. I'm going to announce on here. I'm going to just make some, hey, Julian, how's it going? I'm just going to let everybody know that I'm actually live here. I don't know if Twitter has let people know or not. Let me see. Let's take a look here. So, cool. So let's just give me just a couple minutes so I can actually let everybody know that I'm here. Live coding stream. I'm going to be creating building you're all gonna see me freaking just stumble through stumble through this C++. There's gonna be no place to hide. So this is cool though. This could be a great learning experience for me as well. So yeah. So now let me get in the Discord, let people know in the Discord. Look at my face. So funny. How far am I on Pluralsight? Okay, so I'm about halfway through. Oh, actually about 3/4 of the way. Okay, so let's get back to this thing here. So we got 9 viewers. Nice. This is pretty cool for a little live stream. Just on the fly. There I am. I'm on the delay there. It's kind of buggy to look at. So okay, so what we're gonna do here is we're gonna create a so this is the way that I just start looking at doing a tutorial as I'm kind of learning how to do it myself. So you're going to see a lot of stumbling, a lot of just Googling. But I think this is cool because I mean this is how I learn. So maybe people will pick up things as I'm doing this. So we're going to open this up. I'm going to put this chat over here. We got 12 viewers. Isn't that awesome? So I'm trying to open up my Xcode right now. So great. So here I am. I'm going to do this in an audio application rather than as a Juce plugin because teach us to stumble through towards mastery. I'm no master, trust me. No mastery here. Just a grudging climb towards the finish line. Just changing my code formatting here. So by the way, I'll show you this real quick if you don't know. So I'm actually working on another project where the coding standards are a little bit different. The tab width and the indent width is actually 2 spaces. So if you do on Mac, if you do Command comma, you get a text editing. Then you have this editing and you have this indentation. You can just change this. So that just adjusts what the default spacing is for when you're writing out functions. So yeah, just in case you wanted to know. So let's see. So first thing that we're going to do here is we are actually going to create just some sliders and dials. So we'll do slider 1, slider 2. So I'm just going to do a couple of these. I'll compile this really quick, make sure it actually compiles. So, so cool. So I'm going to do this. Let's see. I think I'm going to make 8 sliders. Six is fine, actually. Yeah. So just trying to think of the best way to actually do this. So we want to make it so it's so we can actually line up different components. So I'm going to, so here's our window. Our window's blank at the moment. Just going to stop this. And now I'm going to pull up. That's not what I want. No, that's not what I want. How do I get out of this? Cancel. So just trying to, that's what I'm trying to pull up. Just the Juice API. So let's have a look. Let's learn together here. So we got Flexbox. And so here we go. Represents a Flexbox container which manages the layout of Flex items objects. So you can search, add sub items to the item array, and then call perform layout in the resized function of your component. Okay, so let's just start easy and just set up a couple different sliders here. So we are going to I'm just going to go to my slider documentation here. And so we want slider style. So we'll try a couple of these different ones. So we'll do like maybe three vertical sliders. So slider style, vertical, linear vertical. There we go. So do three like this. Well, maybe we'll come back and we'll. Oh, you can't see the screen. Hey, that would help, wouldn't it? Ha ha. So funny. Ha ha. Yes. Yes, seeing the screen would probably help, wouldn't it? Sorry about that. Oh, man. Great. Okay, here we are. So, my bad. See, I told you this was a test. So, here we go. So, you can see I've just created 6 sliders. So these are 6 sliders here, and then we are going to do. Let's just do. We might change this around after a minute, but let's just do 3 of them as linear vertical sliders. And then this will be slider 4. Let's try set slider style. Let's just try something different here. Slider style. Give me an autocomplete, please. Okay, so that's not auto-completing. So we got, let's just try rotary. So let's make 3 vertical and 3 rotary. Here we go. Slider style. Okay, so there we go. So now we need to just give each one of these some settings. So we could just go like this. And slider 1. About set color. So we want to be able to discern between the different. So this is okay. See, you're about to see my C++ flaws here. So I think it's slider, and then we need to go color IDs, right? Like that. So let's just try this one. Oh no! See, you're about to see how terrible I am here. Color IDs. I thought it was like this. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Ah, here it is. Set color. Right? Oh yeah, because it would inherit it would be inheriting from the component class. Set color. Hold on 1 second. My dog needs to go outside quick. 1 second. Okay, here we go. So here we are. Color ID would be background. So we want background color ID. Or slider, background. There it is. Color ID. We could do colors. Red. So just do red here. Here it is. This needs to be capitalized because it's a class name. Like a parrot. She's a French bulldog. I'll introduce you to her. Here she comes. Hold on. Here we go. Come. Oh, you can't see. Here she is. Hold on. There she is. There's that girl. There's that little girl. So this is Toast. This is my coding companion. All right. Here we go. Let's get back to the code. Okay. So here we are. Oh, I don't want you to get tangled up. Okay. All right. So where were we? It's a girl, actually. But yeah, everybody thinks she's a boy. Okay, cool. So let's see. Slider 2. So sometimes rather than copying and pasting, I actually, to get the hang of this, I actually just retype these myself. So just kind of habit. So we'll just try blue here. Close my door quick. Okay. Here we are. So slider 3. So yeah, so especially like if you're just starting off, this is something that I like to do. I mean, I'm just starting off. I haven't been coding for a long time. Is rather than, it'd be quite easy just to kind of cut and paste these, but I actually like to type them just so it gets me into the habit of knowing what I'm doing. So let's see, this one could be green yellow. That sounds like an interesting color. And then slider 4, set color, slider style, and then colors. Let's see, ivory sounds amazing. So what's happened? So what's happened here? Slider, green, yellow. Not sure what's. Oh, that's it. Background color ID. Get mixed up here trying to. Okay, we'll do the same thing here. Color. Slider. Background color ID. Colors. Violet. I'll just copy and paste this time. You get the idea though. Navajo white. Okay, so what else do we need? So we need to set the range, right? Slider 1. Set range. Let's just say 0, 0.0, 1.0 main. We're just going to do this. For all of these, aren't we? Doesn't matter what the range is, since this is a UI thing. And this needs to be 6. This needs to be 6. I don't think we need anything else except for adding and making it visible. So just do that. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so now we've got to think, don't we? We've got a situation where we don't know what the bounds of. We haven't set the bounds of the slider, have we? So normally we would just say something like this. We could make a rectangle, right? So rectangle float bounds, get local bounds. This needs to be an int there instead of a float, right? Let's try that. Yeah, algorithms, gotta love them. Yeah, that's a problem for me as well. So let's just try a test here. The normal way I would do this, I would just normally say slider 1, set bounds, and then I would say bounds dot I'm trying to remember this from a tutorial I did way back when. So let me just see here. So if we're 800, I'm just going to do bounds divided by 2 dot remove. Can I do this? Dot remove from, what I could do, dot remove from top, dot remove from left. Maybe not. No viable conversion. Oh, so this needs to be an int. Okay. Maybe that's why. Get local bounds. So that's gonna, or can I do a static cast here? I'm gonna try to get fancy on you here. Will that do it? No, of course it won't. What did it say? It said something. Cannot convert without a conversion operator. Okay. All right. Well, that didn't work anyway. So remove from top. So 300. Let's just say 100 here. Remove. Yeah, I knew I could do that. Dot remove from left. 100. Okay, let's just see if it actually pops up on the screen here. Ah, see, there it is. All right. So we got this. So we got this slider 1, right? That's fine. So as you can see, the disadvantage of that is that these have to be kind of hard numbers. So they have to be concrete numbers. And if you're resizing the size of your UI, I don't know if we even have our UI where we can actually dynamically resize it or not. We'll have to look at how to do that a little bit later. But if you just have these with, I think they call them magic numbers, that what happens is that as you dynamically resize the UI, then what's it called? I'm just going to say it in the simplest way possible. The space between them starts getting jumbled, and you don't maintain your perspective. So if you had 3 sliders on the top row, 3 sliders on the bottom row, then it's not going to dynamically resize. It's not going to dynamically resize that. So that's the reason that we're going to try to use this Flexbox. So there are 2 different, I think there are 2 different techniques here that you can use. One's called Flexbox and the other one's called Grid. And they have advantages and disadvantages to each one of them. So we're going to, let's stumble through this together and see what happens. Okay. Let's see what happens. So we've got Flexbox. And let's just see this. Flexbox container manages a set of Flexbox items. So normally the way that I like to try to do these, I try to do it as much as I can just from the documentation, just seeing if I can just suss out the documentation myself and figure it out. And then if I get really stuck, then I try to search for somebody else that's done it, and then try to just get the information from there and learn as I go along. So let's just start here. and see what we need. So we got Flexbox. So we're going to need to create a Flexbox item, right? So let's just get rid of this. We got Flexbox. Now, what do we need to do? Creates, manages a set of flex item objects. To use this class, set its parameters appropriately. You can search online. Oh, fantastic. More how the Flexbox protocol works. Then add your items, sub-items to an items array. So let's see. Okay, so it looks like we have a direction. So the way that I'm understanding this, if I pull up my, oh, this needs to be Flexbox with a capital B. So let's see if I'm understanding this correctly. So we've got, so here's our UI. So the way that I'm understanding this is that you would create a direction. And then, so like, let's say that we're going to do row. So then it says set the main axis direction from left to right. Then we would add a flex item object, which would be our slider. So I'm assuming that we would add that as a flex item. And then we would populate it. And then we would do perform layout. Sounds like that makes sense. Sounds like it makes sense to me. So I'm going to do a, so here's flex item here. A lot of different options here. I'm a little bit, hesitant. Maybe I shouldn't have done this for my live cast. So auto align. I like that. That sounds cool. So let's just try to break this. Let's just try to break this down and see where it goes. You know, like we just gotta try it, don't we? So we've got, let's try Flexbox direction. Did I do that right? Oh, let's see. So normally you would just say like something like this, Flexbox direction, like that, right? So there must be like set direction maybe or something like that. So here it is. Yeah, flex direction. So the way that for people that might have gotten lost there for a second. So I saw that this was an enum called direction. All right. So we have these different options: direction row reverse, column reverse. And I was just thinking, okay, well, how do I call that, right? So then I thought, okay, well, there must be a method that returns direction, that returns direction, right? So then I look down here and I see, okay, this method flex direction returns a direction object. Would you call that is that an object? I don't, a direction enum. I I don't know. So that's how we're going to do it here. So we got Flexbox, Flex Direction. So we could do, I think we could do this like this. Flexbox Direction row. See if that. Okay. So I didn't call, so it must be like this. Does that work? Yeah. So there we go. So that's fine. Nothing's on the screen yet. So let's see. It rescales the entire components when recalling the UI. Yeah, so I think that there are a couple different ways that this can happen. So you can have it where I believe you can have it where as you grow or shrink the UI, then the components kind of dynamically kind of switch. So let's say that you had, let's see, let me just pull up my UI here so I can just try to. I don't think this is resizable. Oh yeah, it is resizable. Cool. So let's say that we had three. Let's say we had 3 sliders up here, 3 sliders down here, and then I did this. What would happen is as we pull it in, then it may do something where the sliders either get smaller, like the whole UI actually just kind of stretches and contracts, or I think you can have it where as you pull it in smaller, and I'm sure you see this on web pages all the time because that's how web pages are designed. That's where they've gotten this from the way that web designers handle their UIs or handle the web pages, where like you might have 3 sliders and then that slider might, like, after it gets a little bit smaller, it kind of pops down. Those kind of pop down, and then you would end up. I'm not sure exactly how that would work with 3 sliders, but I think you get what I mean. That basically the sliders kind of like if you had like text, and then if I pulled this over like this, then the text just kind of wraps around the text would wrap around dynamically. This is the same kind of concept except with sliders. So okay, so now we've got this flex direction. So let's see what else we've got here. So yeah, so this appears to be what I was saying. So we got align content, and then you've got this option, align content stretch. So I think that's what I'm saying, where yeah, so lines of items are stretched start to end on the cross axis. Okay, so we need to figure out what that means. But these sort of things, you just got to try them, and you just got to really see what happens. Don't be afraid to mess up. So we've got flex. So that's Flexbox. So we're just going to throw these in here and then just kind of see what happens. And then, so once again, this is an enum. So we got align content. So we just need this method, align content, right? Align content equals align content. So Flexbox align content stretch. All right. I hope you guys are enjoying this. Actually, I don't want to say. guys, because I'm sure there might be other people in here. I hope you people are enjoying this. So let's try Flexbox. What other options do we have here? So we got align content. We got align items. I'm just going to put that stretch as well. I'm not even sure if I need to set all of these. I'm just going to try them and then just really pull some of them out and just tinker around with them and just really see what happens. So align item stretch. Align needs to be capitalized. And I'll just try this Flexbox. Justify content. Flexbox. Align items. Content. Flex. Start. Is that right? Is it justify content? Flex. Start. Okay, just going to compile again, see if that works. So this doesn't. It's failed here. Why do my errors? Or did Flexbox does not refer to a value? Oh, so it's this. Okay, so here we got perform layout, performs the box items within the given rectangle. So remember earlier I had a rectangle. So I called this bounds. Get local bounds. Get local bounds is just getting the bounds of the rectangle. So it is actually just getting this whole rectangle here that I have on the screen, which is 800 by 600. Okay, so now we're going to so going back to what I was saying is, so what we need to do now is we need to, at somewhere at the bottom after we add our items, we're going to need to perform the layout. So Flexbox, perform layout. And then in here, we would just put bounds. So this first one, so the way I was thinking I wanted to do it was I wanted to have, since we have 6 sliders here, I would do it like 3 by 3. But this first one, let's just add all 6 to the same row, see what happens. Okay. So now we need to, so we've done, so the set of items to layout. Okay. So now I think we need to do our items, right? So now I'm just going to look at this. So I'm just going through this here. So how do I add? So how do I add an item here? How do I actually add the item to the array? Or do I need to create? Do I need to create an array? I need to create an array, and then I need to add the items to the array. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to feed my dog. She's crying for me here. 1 second. Okay. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so now we know we need to create an array of flex items. Is this right? So what do I do? Just do this. Is that right? It doesn't know. Okay, so that compiled. So flex item, I'm just gonna. Oh, I have it. I have it here. Oh, so this is a juice array. Hold on. Okay, I was getting confused there because I was thinking, okay, well, if I don't set how many items there are at the start at compile time, how does I can't set it? I can't It's not like a vector. I thought it was just like a std array, but it's actually a juice array. So I'm assuming there's something that's add. So here we go. So we got add. So let's just add these and see what happens. So we got flex item. So each one of these is going to be. I'm just going to put this up here like this. Yeah. Well, yeah, plugins you can't resize the UI a lot of times on plugins because I don't know exactly the reason why. I just know that it's a real pain to do that. I think the reason is because it's controlled by it's within the DAW, so it's controlled by the host. I think. I'm not sure if that's the case. You can ask in our Discord chat, and they would probably know more than what I would know. So, okay, so now we're going to do flex items. Probably shouldn't call it flex item since we have something called flex item. I don't want to confuse it with the object name here. So I'm just going to call it items. Yeah. So let's do items. Add. And so let's see. So we have a couple different constructors that we could use here. So I think that this is what we want. Flex item with arguments being width, height, flexbox to control. So let's just try that. So I'm just going to do items, add, slider 1. And then let's see, let's just make this, let's say 50, 100. And then it says, it's a reference to Flexbox to control. Flexbox. Flex item. Okay, so this is the slider. It's not the flex. It's not the flex box. So it's what I want here is I want target component. I believe. Sorry. So items. So items add flex item, and then let's just say 50. Let's say 100, and slider 1. Let's just see what happens there. Okay, so that succeeded, but I don't see anything. Oh no, that's no good. Hmm. So when it says creates an item with a given size and target component, I'm assuming is my slider. I'm just going to make this really big here. Let's see what happens. Still nothing. Okay, so I've added it. Okay, wait, hold on. So I've added it to the array, but I haven't taken the array and actually, yeah, so I've added it to the array, but I haven't actually done anything with the array, I think. So let me see here. So let's go. Yeah, because the array is just sitting there. It doesn't know that it's supposed to perform a layout using the array, right? So let's investigate that. Let's do an investigation and see. So this is array. That's not what we need. The set of items to lay out. So it says the set of items to lay out. Is there a show command? I don't think. Well, I thought perform layout was where it actually performs the layout. Lays out the box's items. Okay. Let's see. Got align items. Then you got this array. Flex items. Okay, so I'm going to go to flex items here. Okay, so let's go back here. Let's go flex item here. Turns a copy of this object. This is a tricky one. That's strange. So this is the question, isn't it? So we've created an array of items, but then you got Flexbox items. Oh, I need to tell it that those are the items. Yeah. So would that be like this? So I'm just getting everything in order here. So I got the Flexbox, I got the items. Then this is a method, right? So it's Flexbox items equals items. All right, now let's try that. Okay, succeeded. Still nothing. Oh, that's great. Okay, but that's the step that I know that that's right. I know that that's right. So we've told the X. So now so let's look at the. Okay, maybe I need to put this down here, like this. I add the items, and then I put the items in the flex box, and then I lay it out. Let's just try that. Aha, there it is. Boom. Okay, so we got something. It's a bit, it doesn't look the way that I thought that it was going to look. So let's just change this for a second here. So it's really tall because it's going to take, okay, so as you can see, this is exactly what I was talking about. See, we have it set to stretch, right? So that's exactly what it's doing is it's stretching all the items. Cool. Well, that's fine. So, but that's progress right there, which is awesome. So let's just go ahead and add everything else. Let's add everything else to here, and then let's just try some different settings and see what happens. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Okay. Okay, cool. So let's add these other ones and then we'll start messing with these. So once again, this is how I like to do things, where instead of just copying and pasting it, I guess maybe in this case I'll just copy and paste. Okay, I'm just gonna completely contradict what I just what I just told you there. So sorry about that. Just for speed, you know. All right. Hope Matt Cat's not watching this. He's probably like, God, this guy does not know anything. Shout out to Matt Cat if you're around. Okay, so what we've seen here is that it's very small, isn't it? Okay, so let's just let's just change these to 100. See what happens. I guess my question is, if I'm setting the width and the height on these, okay, so that's turned out a bit better. That's kind of cool. Okay, it doesn't really. So yeah, this kind of goes to what my question was, which is if you're setting the bounds, if you're setting dimensions here, a width and a height, but it stretches, then it would just stretch to whatever the width and the height is, right? But what my thinking is that the width and the height is the minimum of what you want the dimensions to be. So this must be like 50 by 100. I'm assuming. I'm making just a speculation there. I'm going to do no text box here. So let's go back up here. So slider 1, set text box. Just looking. So slider text box entry position. Slider text box. No text box. Yeah. So just say true here, and then we'll just say 0 width, 0 height. Like so. Do this for all these other ones as well. Slider 3. Slider 4. What are we making? We are making a dynamic UI using Flexbox, using the Flexbox class. So this allows you to make a dynamic UI that's able to stretch or contract as you expand or shrink your UI component. So I'll show you what I mean. So great. So we have no text boxes anymore. So as we can see, these kind of shrink, and I mean, it's kind of a crap example. I'm sure I can. Okay, so that's cool. That's all right. So let's just review and see what we got. See what we got out of this. So we created a Flexbox. We created a Flexbox object. We created an array, a Juce array, not a std array. I say that because a std array, you have to know what the size of the array is at compile time. So you have to set the size. You can't, with a std array, you can't set it as a size of 10 items and then decide at a later point that you want it to be 12 items. It has to be known at compile time. So this is a Juce array, which behaves more like a vector. So you can do like as you can see here, I've done items.add, which is essentially like push back, like a vector pushback, where you're pushing where you're pushing the object into the array, into the back of the array. And we have some settings. So we have some kind of initial settings here that I've set that let the Flexbox know exactly how I want things how I want things set out. These are things that I just kind of chose because I'm not sure what the effect of them is going to be. So I just kind of chose them arbitrarily to just get started, and then thought, okay, we can just go back and we can just change these and just see what happens, right? And then I add the items to the Flexbox, and then I told the Flexbox, hey, here are the items, and then I performed the layout. So yeah, I'm lazy too sometimes as well. So okay, so now let's mess around, right? Let's check something out here. So let's just create let's create a challenge, right? Let's create a challenge, and see what happens here. So let's say that I wanted these 3 dials to be below the sliders rather than beside them, right? Just simple challenge, and let's just see what happens, right? Let's see if we can create that. So here's my thinking. My thinking is that we would need 2 flex boxes. So that's what I think. Which means that we would need 2 arrays. Once again, just a guess. Don't know if this is going to be right or not. So now I'm going to change these to the second one. I'm going to do this Flexbox 2 items equals items 2. Separate these just because, so we know what is what. So now now we've got a situation, right? We've got to divide this. So let's just do Flexbox 2 form layout. Now they both can't be bounds, can they? Because they're just going to paint right over each other. So we're going to have to divide. We're going to have to divide this in half. So bounds dot remove from. So let's think about this. We want the sliders to be above where the dials are. So if we're removing, so this would be removing from the top, right? So we want to remove the space, half the space from the top, so that the sliders are at the top and the dials are below it. I'm gonna try it out and see what happens. So remove from top. So half of this is 300. So I'm just going to try this. I mean, I don't know if it's right. And then I'm just going to say in here, I'm going to put bounds. So Flexbox 2 are the dials. Flexbox 1 are the sliders. And let's see what's going to happen. I don't think it's going to. I'm not having confidence in my coding. Hey, look at that. Ha ha. It worked. Look at that. Hey. Cool. So, like I was saying before, it's it's a thing where you see how these dials are just kind of dynamically expanding, contracting. So that's because of the bounds, the dimensions that we've given it here, as outlined by each one of these flex items that I added. Okay, cool. So now let's now try to just mess around with this. Okay, so now let's say we want the sliders to be vertical, so align vertically, and then we want the dials to align vertically 1, 2, 3 going down. So here's my thinking is that we would need to change. Well, we didn't actually even mess around with this, did we, with Flexbox 2? But let's see. We got column. I'm just going to do the same for Flexbox 2. See if that works. Then I'm just going to copy these, and I'm going to do the same thing. This. Flexbox 2. Actually, just going to do like this. So the order of these would be quite. I mean, I'm just being a little bit kind of about the way this is laid out. So we have all the Flexbox 2 stuff, the Flexbox stuff, and then the Flexbox 2 stuff next to each other. What's it saying? Saying that the item doesn't exist because I just cut it. Okay. So now we've got this in column rather than in row. And let's see what happens. Let's see. So I want the sliders going down 1, 2, 3. Not exactly what I predicted, but it's the result. It's the result that I wanted. And the reason is that the reason that it's done it like this is that we've done it remove from top rather than remove from left, right? So we want these to align vertically. So rather than taking space away from the top, we want to take it away from the left, right? Let's see. Let's try that. And then this should perform the layout, the remaining layout. So let's try that now. Okay, sorta. I mean, So we're getting the result that we want, but I want these to be a lot bigger, and they're not. They're not because this is the max size that we gave it was 50 pixels, didn't we? And if we're aligning down, then it's going to go 50 pixels, give a little bit of space, then do another 50 pixels. But if I do this, let's see what happens now. Yeah, so you can see that we've given it some more space here, and that the sliders are now bigger, because if they're aligning vertically, then it's going to go by whatever whatever bounds that you've set for each item, and then place the next item right underneath of it. So we could do the same. We could do the same thing. So let's do this. Let's do 200 here, and then we'll set these same dimensions for this one. These other ones. All right, let's try that. Now our slider should be a lot bigger. Everything is bigger. So there we go. So you see how that works. And you can sort of see how the items, so you can see how we have align item stretch. So it's quite intuitive, isn't it? You know, like all of it's quite like, I mean, I did some fumbling around and stuff, but it's pretty straightforward, isn't it? So let's mess around now with this, with the align content and see what happens there. So we got flex. I don't really got time to do all of these, but let's just try flex start. Let's see what happens if we do flex start. Okay. So flex start. Let's just see. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So now let's see what happens. Nothing really happens. Doesn't really stretch, doesn't really contract, doesn't really do much of anything. Doesn't dynamically kind of shift the way that I anticipated. Let's try flex between. Space between, not flex between. Okay, let's see. It's not really doing anything interesting there. Maybe I need to do something else in order for that to. So align items. I'm going to just try changing align items quick. Align. Let's do align self auto align. Is that right? One second. Just maybe that's what's missing. So each one of these would have to say auto flex. Let's think about this. So it's a flex item. Declared it. Can I do that? I don't know. No, I can't do that. Okay, let's see. How can I call? So we could do this with align self. Okay, can we just do this? Can we use a for loop maybe? Let me for int I equals 0, I is less than items dot size I plus plus item. See how am I going to do this? So it'd just be items I dot with align self. Then it would be flex item, align self, auto align. Right. So let's just try that, and then let's try to do the same thing with the second list here. I don't know if that's going to actually do anything interesting there or not, but let's see. It's still not really doing anything. Okay. That's something that I can mess around with at some point. Yeah, cool. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just I'm going to upload this on GitHub. Why not? So you guys can I don't want to keep saying you guys, you people can mess around with it. And I'm going to do a proper tutorial on it. Of course, this was just kind of a thing just to learn a little bit about it myself, and I'm going to learn more about it as well. I'm actually, as I'm saying that, I'm actually just I'm actually looking at these different things and thinking, oh, that's it. Oh, that looks interesting. So hold on a second here. This is what I was looking for before we wrap is what I am looking for. So let's just try this really quick before we got Flexbox dot wrap. Flexbox, what's the method called? Flex wrap. Flex wrap equals wrap Flexbox wrap, and then I want to do, so I wanted to wrap around. That's what I was actually looking for. And wrap. See if that works. This needs a capital B. Let's try Flexbox 2. See if that works. Need to capitalize that B again. All right, run it again. Okay. Let's see if it's going to wrap. There it is. Hey, that's what I was looking for. Kind of wraps a little bit jinkily. No, it's pretty good, actually. Not bad. Pretty cool. I mean, it's not like pro or anything. It's not ready. It's not production ready or anything, but it's all right. It's all right for a little tutorial just to show some basic functions. Cool. I'm gonna upload this to Git now. So I'm yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to show you, I'm sure that there may be people that are watching me that may not be very familiar with Git. So I'm going to actually just show the procedure of this really quick. I've actually got a tutorial on it, but why not? I'm here. So I'm going to wrap this up. So I have a development folder that everything is in. So you can use a command. At the moment, I'm in the home folder. So what I can do is if I just pull up my, so I'll just pull up my Finder here. So I want to go into, so at the moment I'm just in users, right? DJ at war. That was my DJ name when I was DJing a lot. And now I want to go into the development folder. So we can just use a command called CD, change directory. And then what I could do is I could just type DEV, and then I can actually hit the tab, and that'll auto-complete the directory. Like if I only have one directory that starts with DEV, then if I hit tab, it'll auto-complete that. So then I hit enter. So now I'm in the development folder. Now I'm going to do, I just tap here. So now I'm going to go into the Juce folder. So once again, I could do CD, JU, and then I could hit tab. That brings me into the Juce folder, right? And then where did I actually put it though? That's the question. So what did I call it? I called it Flexbox or Flexbox. Yeah. So see now if I do this, right? You can also do this. So CD, and then I could do flex, and then I could hit star, and then what it'll do is this time it probably won't let me because as you can see, there are two different folders there that say Flexbox there. So it's probably going to be like, which one do you want? Right. Oops, I need to go to audio programmer. So CD AU, so if I'm looking at this directory, right? So at the moment I'm in the Juce directory, and I wanted to go into the audio programmer directory. Another thing I could do is I could go audio E, and then rather than hitting tab to complete, I could hit star, and that'll actually it'll actually auto-complete it for me. So now I want to CD into Flexbox. Now I'm in Flexbox, right? So I don't have, so what we could do is if we were in this folder and we wanted to see if we had a repository that had our work saved. So I guess I should define what a repository is. So repository, I'm just going to go over it super quick. A repository is a place where you can save different versions of your project. So like imagine if you were a music producer, you probably have like your projects, like if you're working in Ableton where you've done like a little bit and you said like, okay, cool project 1, and then you do a little bit more and you call it cool project 2, and so on and so forth. And you have like all different versions of that project. Well, a Git repository is kind of like the same thing, except it's like, think of it as being kind of in the cloud rather than being like a physical space that's on your computer, like a physical project. So what you could do is you could actually just go, you could go back to work that you'd saved before, or fast forward to work that you have saved recently, and go back, make changes, do branches. It's a really deep thing, but that's just the basics of what a repository is. So now I want to set up a new repository. So you have two ways that you can set up a repository. You have what's called a local repository, where you set it up locally. That's just on your hard drive. Nobody else can see it except for you. And then you have a remote repository, which is someplace like GitHub, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to initialize a Git repository. I could use that doing the command git init, right? Now I've just initialized a repository in this Flexbox, in my Flexbox folder. Okay, so now let's look at the Flexbox folder here really quick. Just have a look. And so we have a couple different folders in here. So we have one that's called builds. So that's where you actually like build your app, right? So it might be like your actual like kind of executable, right? Then you have the juicer file, then you have Juice library code, and then you have your source folders. Okay. So now the thing is that when you want to upload your stuff up to Git, up to your GitHub, right? And you want other people to download, your project. Well, if they have Juice, they're not going to need Juice library code again, right? Because they already have it. So the only thing that you really need to give them are the source files, the juicer file, and that's it. You don't need to give them the builds folder either, because they're going to be able to build it. They're going to be able to build the app from their own computer, right? So there's no sense in needing to give them the builds unless you're giving them like a finished executable, to go and use. But if you want them just to give them the code, you just need to give them the source file and the juicer. So we have this thing that's called Git Ignore, right? So you can actually access that using, I know this is really complex. If this is your first time hearing this, I understand. But this is just a really brief overview. So there's a thing called Vim, right? I don't even remember what Vim stands for, but we can actually access this file. It's a hidden file on in your Git repository called a Git Ignore, right? So let's see. If I list, well, it doesn't actually even exist yet. But if I use the command vim dot git ignore, this will bring me into an area where I can actually tell my Git that when I'm saving the new project that I want to ignore certain files. There are certain files that I do not want to add to the repository. So like I said before, the Juice library code, the builds folder, you don't need to add those to your Git repository because anybody else that's going to be downloading your source code is already going to have those things. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to add those two folders to our Git Ignore because we want to ignore those folders. So when I hit vim git ignore, it brings me to this weird place here in the command line where it doesn't say anything, right? There's nothing there. So what do you do? So this is the place where you actually put the folders, where you actually name the folders that you want Git to ignore. The way that you do this is a little bit funny to kind of do this, but what you do is you actually press the I key, and then now I'm in what's called insert mode, and now I just put the name of the folder that I want to put in there. So I got builds, and then I just hit enter, and then I say Juice library code, press enter, and then there's another file that I want to add to this that you'd want to add to your Git Ignore. It's called DS Store. I'll be honest with you, I have no idea what it actually does. I just know that you want to add this to your Git Ignore because you don't want to add it to your repository. Okay, so it's like this, DS Store, right? So now I've added these folders to my ignore list, so I don't want to add those to my repository. Now what I could do is I'm done here. So I can hit the escape key, and then so I hit escape, and now I'm going to hit colon. So like you see down here at the bottom, these two little dots, you want to hit that, then you want to hit W for write and Q for quit. So colon, so it's escape, colon, write, quit. That's what they pay us the big bucks for, right? So now we're back in our command line, right, in normal mode. So now we want to go ahead and add the rest of our source files to the Git, right? So now we want to go Git add. We're going to add all the files, right? Because all the files that we're going to add, the only files that are going to be added are the source files and that juicer file. So you can do that using the command git add dot, right? So you do that. And now I can give a commit a Git commit message. So when you make a save in your Git, you want to let people know, hey, made changes to Flexbox or added 3 sliders to my project, right? So you want to so especially if you're working with other people, you want them to know the progress that you've made, right? So what you could do is you could do git commit -m. -m just means that I'm adding a message. Uploading basic Flexbox files. So then I hit enter here. So now you see what is added to the list here. So it's added my source. So all the stuff in the source folder, it's added the Flexbox, and it's added the git ignore. All right. So now what I want to do, so now before I actually save this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually create a remote repository now. So like I said before, you have a local repository, which is just saved on your computer. Then you have a remote repository, which is on a place like GitHub or GitLab, where you would upload it and other people can now download your project, right? So the way that you would do that is we would go to GitHub. And then I'm just going to click new repository. I'm just going to call this Flexbox tutorial. I'm not going to bother with any sort of description for the moment. I'll add that later just for speed's sake. Then I'm going to hit create repository. Okay, then it's going to bring you to this screen. And now what I want to do is I'm going to take this line here, git remote add origin, and then it has the link. It's just saying, okay, now what I want to do is I have my local repository. Now I want to synchronize this with my remote repository. And that's what that does, is it's saying, okay, here's where my remote repository is. And I've done that. Okay. Now I can actually do what's called a push, where I've pushed the changes, which means that I basically save the changes and I just push them into the repository. So you do git push -u origin, and then we're going to do what's called master, which is called the master branch, right? So that's a subject for another day, but that's where. So see, now it says branch master set up to track remote branch master from origin. So that means that everything is saved properly there. And now you're done, right? So that's basically it. Yeah. So if you want to go to my GitHub, I'm at github.com/theaudioprogrammer. And if you want to download that, so I'll show you quickly how to download it as well, if you don't know how to download it. So here we are back in the command line, right? And now let's say that this is something that I want to download. I want to put it on my computer because you want to see what I've done and you want to make changes to it and play around with it yourself. So now you can use a command called Git Clone. Then you just put in the link there. So this would actually clone it to my DJ at War user folder, right? And so if I hit enter, then that's what that does, is it clones it into the folder. Now, if I go over here and I pull up a window somehow, all right, I'll go to development. If I go over to my name, you will see Flexbox tutorial right there. And then there's the juicer and there's the source files. And then you just got to put this in a place where you can, where your Juice library is, right? And that's it. So you're good to go. Cool. So I'm going to end this live stream here. I'm kind of hungry at the moment, but I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Whoa. So yeah, all this coding is making me hungry. So I hope you gathered some things out of it. And I'm going to do this tutorial itself maybe tomorrow, maybe early tomorrow. I've actually got a call with Eyal Amir, who's a friend of mine. He works for Waves. He's going to show us some cool new plugins that he's been building. And I've got a conversation coming up with him later on today. And we're going to talk about that and talk cool coding, not coding, colding stuff, cool colding stuff. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you next time.